You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network. Den sei nach Strömjungen i Celery.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is episode 14 of the Angry Marks Rewind podcast here at AngryMarks.com, your number one source for pro wrestling and mixed martial arts news and information. I, of course, am always Rowan Unruh. You can follow me on Twitter at Rowan Unruh. Follow us also on YouTube at AngryMarks.com, and subscribe on iTunes, keyword Angry Marks, for such wonderful shows as the Impact Implosion and the Thursday Night AMP with Stevie J. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest, as always, the wonderful, the handsome, the talented Mike Poulin. Mike, how's it going today?
I am doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. I kept wanting to debut this right after Christmas, but I got a gift for Christmas that I'd been wanting for 5 years straight, and so here it is.
Harmonica! I feel like I'm in a Tom Petty song.
You don't know how it feels. Wait, did we just break a copyright law?
No, because we didn't use the actual music.
For 5 years at my work, I had been bugging, we do the Secret Santa thing, and the first time I was having a particularly rough day, and I didn't really care about it, and so finally my coworkers just kept bugging me. Well, what do you want? What do you want? I said, oh, fine, I don't care. I'm a harmonica. Just go away. And then that became like a joke. It's like every year at Christmas time, it's like, oh, did you get your harmonica this year? And damn it, this year I did. So much to the chagrin of the people in my household.
Ha! Ha!
So how was your week in the world of professional wrestling?
Not filled with much wrestling, because I don't think I watched any of it this week.
I was going to watch the UFC show, which is the greatest pro wrestling out there right now, but I don't know, the card got switched up, and I don't know. I didn't feel like paying $60 to watch 43-year-old Anderson Silva, so I decided that I would watch Coliseum Home Video's Invasion of the Bodyslammers.
Ha! What a fun decision you made.
This was your choice. And
yes, it was.
First of all, I'm going to put you over because this selection is just a hint under 2 hours. So right there, aces. And if you're, I don't know, younger than the age of 30, you probably don't know a whole lot about Coliseum Home Video. They were basically the distribution company for the WWF to distribute all of their videotape library. That included pay-per-views, and in this case, it was a compilation of different matches from different either house shows or TV tapings or dark matches that didn't really seem to go anywhere. And my local video store used to carry all these different compilations. There was the Super Tape series, which I loved.
Yep. We'll be doing more of these in the future, by the way.
Super Tape was the one that I liked the most because
WrestleFest,
which I don't know if it was Super Tape or WrestleFest that gave me Babyface Heart Foundation versus Babyface Legion of Doom.
That is WrestleFest 91, sir.
Okay, if there was that.
It also gives you Mean Gene and Bobby Heenan playing tennis in 92.
And that was all of these videos had like their own little themes, just like you said. They had they would show matches. And then they would do little vignettes of the hosts doing different activities like tennis or golf. In this case,
bowling.
We have Lord Alfred Hayes is our host for this show, and they are in a bowling alley, and it's him.
Did they rent this out? Because there was nobody in there.
Well, it was during the day, so you know all the bowling parties happening.
Bowling alleys during the day every now and again. There's usually at least some people in there.
This is the same company that rented out an entire bus to cart Lex Luger around the country.
He'll be your hero,
and then not win the title.
Whoops. Well, I guess not. Anyway,
So Lord Alfred Hayes is interviewing the Reverend Slick, who is with his new protege, the newly turned babyface Kamala. And Slick...
And this was actually their last appearance because Kamala turned babyface at the beginning of '93, and, well, I think Slick left at some point. I'm wondering when they filmed all this. I'd love to know that. I'm
not sure. I have the dates of each individual match, but I don't have the location of this bowling alley. So, I don't know. If you worked for Coliseum Video and you're within the sound of my voice, this is a mystery that needs to be solved. So let us know. The Reverend Slick is such an accomplished bowler. He's going to teach Kamala how to bowl a perfect game. And Slick is such a great bowler, he has bowled 27 perfect games in his life. I call bullshit 10 seconds into this show.
Oh, it's going to be a fun review.
Oh, man. So, before you can bowl, you need the proper attire. And Kamala, as we all know, wrestles barefoot. And the first thing that Slick does is he offers him a gift. It's a pair of someone else's rented bowling shoes.
And he has the same reaction we should all have when we see that.
He cowered in fear.
Yes. I don't want those shoes.
You don't know. It's like, brother, listen. How many people's feet have been in these?
Well, we'll figure that out, and here's our first match. It's Yokozuna versus Earthquake.
Yeah, this happened on January 25th, 1993 at the tapings in San Jose, which was one day after Yokozuna won the Royal Rumble.
I was wondering if one of us was going to mention that.
Yeah, so our announcers for this video are JR, Jim Ross, Bobby Heenan, and Randy Savage. Now,
and by the way, you know it's a Coliseum Video exclusive because the video wall says Coliseum Video.
Right. The video wall says Coliseum Video. Nothing screams more WWE 90s than Ico Pro banners hanging from the ceiling.
And the headlock on Hunger.
Now, the Royal Rumble, as we all know, is in January. And Jim Ross didn't get hired until WrestleMania, which was in April. So, as a young child, I'm trying to do the math in my head. This was in January. How could he go? Did he go back in time and do this? This is when I found out about post-production.
Right.
And it was made even further evident when we get to the Intercontinental title match, which was in April of '92, which was a year before Jim Ross was hired.
Yep. And about 14 months after before this tape was released.
So the previous night, if you were at the Royal Rumble in Fresno, California, you saw an altercation between Earthquake and Yokozuna, which resulted in Earthquake being eliminated by Yokozuna.
Sacramento. It was in Sacramento, not Fresno.
Wait, what was Fresno? No. Was it?
It was at the Arco Arena in Sacramento.
Right, Arco. That's right.
Fresno would be the next day's tapings.
Thank goodness you're here.
Yep.
Fact check there, everybody. So this match is exactly how you would expect it to go. There was some early stalling. Yoko does the salt throwing gimmick. They go face.
Bobby Heenan makes a Suzanne Summers reference. A couple of them.
Which I didn't really understand. It's like, okay, he said.
Thigh Master.
He said that Yokozuna is so quick that they put his face on the Thigh Master or something like that.
On the advertisements for it instead of Suzanne Summers. And then JR says that when Yokozuna does his big squat in the corner, Thigh Master's not working. Heenan says, it's supposed to build your thighs. Well, then it's working.
Yeah, I think Bobby had some... That was a swing and a miss, but that was not the worst one that he would do on this tape. So they go face to face. Earthquake shows his speed advantage, quote unquote, early. They do a running shoulder block contest. Quake knocks Yoko down to one knee with a clothesline. Yoko shoulder blocks Quake, and Quake takes a great bump. Yoko drops the big turkey leg. I've always loved his leg drop. I always thought that
Yokozuna.
He was such a terrible manager.
Yokozuna is probably his best protege.
No, I don't know. Powers of Pain were always
Demolition,
my favorite.
maybe? Demolition?
No. The Fuji version of Demolition with Smash and Crush, they were terrible.
No, the actual Fuji version, Act and Smash.
Oh, from 1988. Or
Yes.
87, yeah, that was okay.
The Smash and Crush was the death of Demolition when they were both they both leave and get repackaged, and we'll talk about what happened to Smash later. I can't wait to talk about that.
So Earthquake is in the corner, and for some reason he's distracted by Fuji, so I guess he is doing his job well. Quake turns to yell at him, not sure why Fuji needed to distract him, because Yoko pretty much had this thing all wrapped up. Yoko runs, hits a splash in the corner, does a big chop to the throat. Earthquake takes his second big back bump of the night. Banzai, pin, 3 minutes and 43 seconds.
And Earthquake is pretty much gone after this.
Yeah, it was short. It was to the point. They had their plans in place for WrestleMania. Yoko was the main eventer, and Earthquake would be gone for a year working in Japan and CMLL.
I want to... Wait, he worked the CMLL?
He did.
I want to see that footage. I want to see Earthquake do the Earthquake splash over the top rope on a bunch of lucha guys.
I want to see him do Ronnie Ranas.
Yes. The Earthquake Con Rana.
Ooh. Well played. You know what that deserves? I give this one 2 salt buckets out of 10.
Next tag match.
Oh God.
The Nasty Boys and the Beverly Brothers. The battle of teams that weren't even in the company by this point.
Yeah. So this was December 28th, 1992 episode of Primetime Wrestling.
Taped in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Yeah. I don't think a young Ken Anderson would have been there.
You think Brett Favre attended this show?
I said a young Ken Anderson.
Yeah, you said Green Bay, right?
Yeah, Green Bay. Well, was Favre playing for the Packers yet?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that was his first year, trust me.
I don't know if this would be the time period where they'd be noting the celebrities, but
well, you know, since it was Brett's rookie season basically in Green Bay, so he was definitely not a superstar. But what was a superstar is the Beverly Brothers theme music. And then another It was like
that sounds like more like the Nasty Boys WCW theme.
We're the boys. We're the boys. We're the Nasty Boys. Beverly Brothers music sounded like this, strip mall elevator music, and it was fantastic. But I can't take them seriously after seeing them in that AWA pilot as the Destruction Crew.
Ah, Jesus.
Where they're beating up the green screen with sledgehammers.
I've seen indie buildings that look better than the building on that pilot.
Oh. So Ross claims that
Good Lord.
Jim Ross claims that this match has really big implications on the tag team rankings. It's like, really?
Neither team was in the... Nasty Boys were on their way to WCW by this point. By the time point this tape was released, and one of the Beverlys had already left the company. Blake was still hanging around now.
I can't imagine all the tag teams in the back comparing their rankings.
I can't imagine anybody comparing their rankings.
Like you've got, well, let's see, who were the tag teams around this time? You had Money Incorporated, Head Shrinkers, Natural Disasters, Beverly
Brothers and Bushwhackers,
and High Energy.
Yeah, what a murderer's row of team that is.
And they're like, well, we definitely beat them, so we should be ranked higher than them.
Oh boy!
Get Joe Silva to figure this out. So there's I don't know. There's a funny exchange with the announcers trying to figure out which Beverly is in the ring. That's
the blonde guy is one of the Nasty Boys. The guy in the pants is the referee.
Bobby was great.
The other blonde guy is the Nasty Boy.
See that guy, the black hair, the mullet? That's Sags. And the other one, that's Beverly.
Which one is it? It's Mr. Beverly.
Mr. Yeah, what's his first name? Mr. They were doing their best to try and entertain themselves in this god-awful match. This was, at this point, both of these teams were just, jobbers to the stars.
Well, the Nasty Boys are already left by this point.
So, Nasties get a head start. Bo wakes up Knobbs with a slap. Knobbs takes him down with a spinning hair slam. They introduce one of the Beverlys to the Pity City, or Pit Stop.
But the other Beverly catches him from the Nasty Boy from behind.
Right, and that's where we find out where Parts Unknown is from. It's in one of the Nasty Boys' armpits.
That's about right.
So very basic offense with knobs doing little flashes of comebacks here and there until Bo misses, I don't know, a second rope headbutt, splash, elbow. I don't know what he was going for, but whatever it is, he missed.
It's a low blow spot where Savage tries to cover it up by saying he could have kicked him in the foot and it would have been lower.
I guess they were really trying to push this product as something far more fan-friendly, so they couldn't just outright say, "Oh, he kicked him in the balls."
He kicked him. He kicked him low.
So Sags gets a hot tag. There's slams on both Beverlys. There's all four guys are brawling in the ring. The ref gets shoved down, and he decides to disqualify.
Referee is Mike Chioda for this one, by the way, with a mullet.
Oh, Mike Chioda was always awesome at giving guys crap. He always looked so angry.
He was definitely better than Hebner.
Yeah. So this match ends at 6 minutes. God, this only went 6:47.
Felt like 36:47.
So a very paint by numbers as you would get. You can imagine sitting through one of these old TV tapings, complete with the occasional, star versus star match, and this is what you get.
Well, I mean, my first show that I went to as a kid was one of these TV tapings. So
can only imagine it was just god awful for most of it, because these were like 4-hour shows, weren't they?
I'd imagine so. I'm not the Green Lantern fan. I didn't have a stopwatch.
And now in 2019, we're supposed to be used to 4 and 5 hour shows. But
well, yeah, but there's a lot more action in these 4 and 5 hour shows supposedly than there were in those 4 or 5 hour shows.
Hey, these two teams are still all alive today. They could probably put on a pretty good match.
It could headline in any indie near you.
But no, they had
maybe somebody from like AAW can book it.
They had to protect these two teams. God forbid should someone pin one of the Beverly Brothers.
Because the Beverly Brothers had so much stock in the company at this point.
That's right. They weren't accompanied by the Genius,
and they would get squashed by the Steiners at the Rumble.
Oh, that's right. I remember that murder. That was an absolute murder.
Scott and this sloppy Frankenstein. Anyway, we back to the bowling alley.
Oh, bowling alley. So Slick is pissed because he paid a lot of money for these rented shoes that Kamala won't wear.
Robbing the collection plate, are you?
So Slick presents him. Was it Alfred? Alfred gave Kamala a custom bowling ball that was just for him. So basically, it was a black ball that some props guy sloppily painted the Kamala markings on. And
Kamala is fascinated by this.
And I'm thinking,
shiny bowling ball with my tribal stuff on it.
I'm looking at this through, my 41-year-old eyes, and I'm thinking their racism was covered up a lot in this era.
Yep.
Match number 3 of the night. We got Razor Ramon and The Undertaker. This was Dayton,
Ohio.
November 24th at the Nutter Center.
Not the Hair Arena.
Nope. What do you know about the Nutter Center as far as pay-per-views go? Ready?
King of the Ring
go.
93.
There you go. Look at that. You deserve a.
And that's gonna be a bit for every show from now on.
This is gonna get old quickly. This was every Undertaker early 90s match you've ever seen.
And we're going to see another Undertaker early 90s match later.
So Razor bails early. Taker gives chase. Razor tries to jump him. Taker, of course, no-sells his offense. Within the first minute, he hits the old school, but at the time it was just called school. Comedy, everyone.
You'll be here all night.
Lots of selling. Lots of no-selling. I can't read my own typing here. Lots of no-selling by Taker. He gets crotched on the top rope, and Heenan's like, well, that'll tear your hamstring. Like, he's a zombie. He has no muscles.
I don't even want to talk about that.
There's a sidewalk slam by Razor. He drops about 40 elbows on him. Just
grabs the urn.
Right, so for some reason, Paul Bearer decides this is the point where he's going to jump up on the apron, fighting with the referee. Razor grabs the urn. He bonks Taker on the head with it. Takes his sweet-ass time covering him. Of course,
gotta get the referee in position.
Of course, Taker kicks out. Razor gets hit by a big choke slam, and then
leaves.
And then he just decides to leave. He takes the deliberate count out at 5 minutes and 4 seconds. And
next.
This was another common theme in these Coliseum compilation videos. There was so many, double DQs and double countouts, and they always wanted to protect everyone. And in this particular case, I think it's good that they protected Razor because he was on his way to feuding with Bret Hart for the world title.
Yep.
And Razor was just Undertaker was just coming off that god awful Kamala feud. And do you remember what Undertaker was supposed to be doing after the Kamala feud?
Nails.
And we're gonna get to that because later on this tape, there's some history here with one of their locations. We get match 4: Bam Bam Bigelow versus Typhoon. This was
Uncle Fred.
Uncle Fred, if you will.
The Shockmaster.
Yeah, this was just like 6 months away from Shockmaster, wasn't it?
Taped in San Antonio, Texas.
So this one was January 5th, 1993 from San Antonio. Again, more fat guy spots, shoulder blocks.
A big guy likes beating a big guy because it means something, says Bobby Heenan. Really?
No, if I'm a big guy, I want to beat up a little tiny twerp. That makes me feel so much better.
Because I can be the bully.
That's right. Bam Bam tries a high cross body, and Typhoon catches him and gives him basically the world's strongest slam. As a child, when I first saw this, I thought this was the most badass move I think I'd ever seen. This topped the list. This was better than the Savage Elbow. This was better than the Hogan leg drop.
Big man spot.
Big man spots. So Typhoon gets thrown into the corner, and Bam Bam is clubbering him. He hits a vertical suplex, so, Uncle Fred takes a nice bump for that. There's a great big fat chin lock. Crowd is bored to tears. They're talking to each other in the front row. Thank goodness there were no smartphones in 1993.
We'll talk about that later with the Repo Cam segment, too.
Typhoon hulks up. Bam Bam throws a couple forearms, and he almost loses his balance. And you see, he threw a forearm. It knocked himself backwards. He bounced off the middle rope, and he had a nice recovery. Typhoon comes back with a couple clotheslines. He has Bigelow down. He's ready for his big finishing move, that big giant splash of his. And he runs off the ropes, and he's about to jump, but he stops. And he looks at the crowd.
Brain cells stopped.
And he puts his one index finger in the air, saying, "One more time. I'm going to do this one more time." What a fucking dummy.
Brain cells stopped, says Bobby Heenan.
I wish they could have just... Okay, do you watch a lot of PWG?
I've seen some, but it's probably not very recent PWG.
Okay, only reason why I say is because their commentary, they curse all the time. Oh, what a fucking... he knocked his goddamn fucking head off. I want to hear Bobby Heenan say, "What a fucking idiot. What is this guy doing?"
He has him beat.
Oh. So he throws Bam Bam into the corner. He runs in. He misses a charge. Big little clotheslines him out of the corner. Runs to the top rope. Hits the top rope headbutt. Gets the pin at 7 minutes and 38 seconds.
Goody. Next.
I'm waiting for your expert analysis on Typhoon versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
It was 7 minutes and 38 seconds. Typhoon's an idiot for not finishing his opponent. And Bam Bam wins.
All right, we're back in the bowling alley. Slick is trying to explain the actual physical act of bowling. And Slick rolls a strike, and I can only hope that they did this just in one take. He's so proud of himself. He turns to Kamala, who didn't watch, and...
Kamala needs ADD meds.
And Kamala is gazing at his big black ball. He is!
God. He's pushing and pulling. Kamala needs ADD meds. He can't focus.
Slick is so frustrated that Kamala wasn't paying attention.
Come over here!
And at first I thought, he's just trying to teach him how to bowl. There's an underlying story here that they don't tell us, is that Slick is clinically depressed. And he's constantly looking for approval and validation from anyone. All those years of being a pimp, yet not really knowing true love himself. So when Kamala doesn't validate him, Slick throws a tantrum, much like a young child when their mom didn't watch them do a dive at the swimming pool.
Or when they don't get the toy they want for Christmas.
Right. He was so upset that Kamala
We're
wasn't watching
explaining
him.
psychology to you, listeners.
From someone who has been through lots of therapy, I can identify these things.
Yep. And speaking of things that might make you need therapy, the repo cam.
When you announced that this was the show that we were going to be doing, the first thing I remember was Kamala bowling. I completely forgot about the repo cam. I wrote 100,000 words about this.
And I've got a few too, and we'll get to them as we go through. And the first thing is random guy with camera. Right.
So another thing with these Coliseum videos is that they would do like these little feature spots on some of their guys, like little profile pieces, so we get to know who they are and what type of background they have.
Of course, Repo Man doesn't have any classic matches you would remember.
Oh, come on now. Him and Virgil, they tore it up once.
But only once.
Him and Crush at, in front of 80,000 Englishmen.
I bet everybody remembers that match.
I do. That was great. There was so much neon in that match.
Crush is going to win whether he wants to or not.
Stupid British Bulldog kid. So we're spending the day with the Repo Man. For those that don't know, and I don't know how
he's going to steal that guy's camera.
I don't know how you couldn't know. Repo Man is the former Smash from Demolition.
Barry Darso.
Who'd gone on to have, the man of 1,000 gimmicks.
And the first thing he does is he steals some dude's Cadillac.
Well,
no. Dude may have been Bill Alfonso.
No, but before that. So there's a young family in a parking lot taking a video of themselves and their Winnebago. And we know it's recording on their camera because there's a great big red record graphic in the corner of the frame.
Oh, the 1990s camera.
Which is standard for every video camera back then. So then the camera pans to the right, and there's Repo Man in full gear.
Hiding in the bushes.
I think he was on top of one of the other trailers or one of the other campers. He was trying to repo another camper. He gets upset, saying he doesn't want to be on film, but then he says, if you want to keep that camera, film me for the day. So which is it? Now, he also assumes that this camera guy is late making payments on both the video camera and his own trailer, and he threatens to take them if he doesn't follow along and document his work. I bought this camera
for my baby.
Under what authority does he have to do this?
Apparently, he's the big boss man tampering with the police files of nails.
We're going to get into some laws here. I did some research, I tell you what. So I'm wondering, did Sears track down this deadbeat video camera owner, and who hasn't he made his payments to? I want to see a production meeting in Stamford, Connecticut, where they come up with the Repo Man character and his costume.
Hey Barry, get in here. What do you want? I'll kick your stinking teeth in.
Well, let's see. Goddamn. We got a Lone Ranger mask, and we got pieces of tires riveted to an Inspector Gadget trench coat, and tire tracks on his gray bodysuit.
We're gonna give you a rope.
That's what a repo guy looks like.
I bet Vince had something stolen from him when he was younger, and it's always been said that when Vince gives guys certain gimmicks, it's because giving IRS because he's had problems with the IRS. Or Isaac Yankem DDS was maybe because he had problems with Dennis.
And all the while, everyone around him is like, oh yeah, Vince, great idea.
That sounds like a bad Johnny Ace impersonation.
No, okay, I can't.
Yeah, Vince.
I'm John Laurinaitis. So,
for some reason, I sound like Butters.
So his first victim is a guy who's driving a Cadillac who's late on his payments. And it turns out
like Bill Alfonso.
It turns out the owner of the car is WWF referee and future ECW mainstay Bill Alfonso, who tries to reason with Repo, saying, Hey, Daddy, I'll make my payment. Don't take my car, thus admitting he's guilty. Why would you admit to that?
Where's Eli Drake with a dummy yeah on that one?
Where's Judge Jeff Jones? We need some law enforcement
Where's
here.
Giant Gonzalez? Because apparently that's the guy who watched over him.
And, if Fonzie is driving around a Cadillac, he's probably making some pretty good coin. So why would he be missing his payments unless he's just a dirtbag in real life?
Which wouldn't surprise me. Why didn't Rico ask him to go along?
Well, you obviously don't know the etiquette of repossession.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm not going to repossess your car and then ask if you want to come along with me. No, I'll get the stranger.
But yeah, he was going to repossess the guy's camera and then said, "Hey, follow me around for the day."
Right. And this guy...
There's some problems with logic there.
This guy just blindly decided, sounds good to me. Goodbye, wife.
Away from the kid and the wife.
So long, wife and newborn baby. I'm going to go with this strange-looking guy who's...
This questionable-looking fellow.
Right. So he pulls out... He squeals out of the parking lot with Fonzie's Cadillac, and then he stops, he backs up, tells the camera guy to get back in. Camera guy, wife, and child still don't know where he is. They're just still hanging around the trailer. And then he's worried that, what if the cops do come? But if you're a legitimate repossessor, you have nothing to worry about.
And then the next thing is he comes up to a kid in the school whose father is 15 minutes late picking him up.
I did some research, and I know they're in California when they filmed this, because we can clearly see that they are in the parking lot of the Selland Arena. Yep. So I decided to do some research on state of California repossession laws. If you will acquiesce with me for just a moment. Courtesy of Borowitz and Clark, a leading consumer bankruptcy law firm. Visit them at www.borowitzclark.com. Giving them some free airtime here. So, who can repossess property? In California, 2 different types of individuals may repossess your car. First, your lender may hire a repossession agency. So we might assume that Repo Man is part of a bigger agency. He's not an independent contractor. Repossession agencies must be licensed by the California Department of Consumer Affairs, Bureau of Security and Investigative Services, or BSIS. They must show you their BSIS ID prior to the attempted repossession. You can verify the license online by calling their number. And there's a number here. At any point, did Repo Man display his BSIS license to Fonzie?
Nope.
The only other person that can legally take your car is an employee or legal owner, possibly the bank or the dealership. They may also repossess your property, but they do not have to be licensed by BSIS. So now that we know that, Repo Man is neither of these things, so legally he's unqualified to repossess cars. Take that, WWE Creative!
And now we're on to the schoolyard with the kid in the bike who... His dad's 15 minutes late. But
what a terrible dad is.
Yeah, but there's a bike right in front of him, and that's apparently his. Why not just ride your bike home?
Right. And Repo's telling this kid that your dad owes me a lot of money. So now is he a loan shark? Like,
I'm going to take your bike for a day.
Did he personally sell the car that the guy missed payments on?
Maybe. He's a shady fellow.
So Repo decides he's going to steal this kid's bike. Now keep in mind, this kid looks like he's about 10 years old, and the bike is a size for a 10-year-old. So seeing Repo Man take the bike and gleefully ride off into the distance with his trench coat.
And this kid could care less that his bike got stolen.
Yeah, he was, that wasn't even my bike. I stole that from someone else.
He looks like a bully.
So, He decides that picking up the bike and running with it is a faster method of escape than actually riding it.
I'm going to take your bike for a day, but really you're never going to see this bike again.
Right. So he's running away, yet he's still sneaking.
He's sneak running.
Now we're in front of a video store. This is only like a 5-minute segment here. We're going to be talking about it for half an hour. where in front of a video store, he's claiming that it will be his because the owner hasn't made a payment in over a week. So we're
sure.
Is that how real estate? Is that the like?
Is that how that works?
I don't own a whole lot of commercial real estate, so maybe I'm not the one to know about this. But if you're only like a week late, can't you just like call and negotiate or make some sort of arrangement?
I don't know. I don't know.
The mysteries here. So we're treated to know that this video store stocks so many quality Coliseum home videos. And Repo approaches the counter, and the girl working there, she's having a hard time keeping a straight face through all this. There was some brutal acting in this. But Repo tries to... Go ahead.
I hear your manager's late on his payments all the time. Wait, he never misses a payment.
Oh, but I don't own the place. It's like, so how the hell do you know?
And why is the manager not there?
Because it's late night, so you're going to leave your least valued employee to work the night shift. So
That's about right.
So the crazy Lone Ranger Repo guys can come in and try to intimidate you unless you play a video cassette of Repo Man's greatest hits.
Which are his vignettes from when he was debuting?
It's now 3 a.m. Repo is creeping around someone's yard. He shows great acting chops in showing his frustration with, this car door is locked. What am I going to do? So he gives the car a great big running boot to the window and smashes
somehow
it.
Whoever lives in the house does not hear it.
Right. Somewhere a young Bill Goldberg is like, I can do better than that. So he hotwires the car and he drives away. He then enters another garage. The garage is unlocked, so these people they don't give shit one about their own security. And he justifies taking this old lady's car because she's 3 full days late on her payment.
I don't think that's how that works.
No. Cameraman's wife still hasn't heard from her husband. We're now like...
Why aren't you calling the Department of Missing Persons? They might be in another town by now.
So he steals the car. Now we're back at the video store, and Repo is running down his night. And he's going to go home, and he's going to take a break because you can't repo everything. And he asks...
Can he?
He asks the cameraman, hey, that's a pretty cool camera. First of all, they were out for a long time. How long is the battery life on those cameras? There was no battery indicator in the graphic. These little attention to details.
Yep.
So Repo's like, hey, can I see the camera? It looks pretty cool. I'll give it right back, I promise. Now, this camera guy has been following him around for the better part of, we'll say, 12 hours. He's gotten to know him. Like a dumb fuck, he trusts Repo Man to give his camera back. He is a poor judge of character, and I'm not surprised his wife doesn't care about his whereabouts.
Hey, you told me you'd give me the camera back. I didn't say that.
Repo takes the camera. He starts to sneakily run away. As he's running, the camera pans to the original camera guy, who's wearing a suit and tie. He's been wearing a suit and tie all day. And he doesn't even attempt to give chase.
Hey, give me my camera back.
No. Okay.
What's mine is mine, and what's his is mine too.
Well, I'm out of ideas.
How come my wife hasn't called yet?
Thus endeth the Repo Cam.
Oh my God! If anything you want to watch this for, you should watch for that.
Oh, that segment alone should go in the Hall of Fame.
Repo Man for Hall of Fame 2019.
No, not Repo Man. Just this Repo Cam segment.
Yes.
Just don't induct Repo. Don't induct Demolition. Just take this 6-minute clip from Invasion of the Bodyslammers, and we'll put it in the Builders category.
Yep.
So we go from that to the Intercontinental title match. Bret Hart defending against Shawn Michaels. This whole show has been about just comic bad guys, cartoony gimmicks. We've got sumo guys. We've got dudes with
dead guys.
We've got
dudes with tattoos on their head.
Tattooed head.
Disasters.
Scarface impersonator. And now we're going to switch that to two actual talented technical wrestlers that are good at their job. So this match kind of seemed out of place on this show.
Taped in April '92 from Syracuse, New York. Shawn Michaels in Syracuse. Nothing bad will ever happen in that town.
Forecasting. So Randy Savage, being the scholar that he is, makes the bold prediction that this will be the best match on the video. You don't say.
He also says that Sherry's chest must be red because it's swollen.
Are you telling me that Kamala versus Doink will not be as good as Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels?
You don't say.
Why are you speaking such tomfoolery there, Randy?
Oh, we'll get to that.
So Shawn thinks he gets the advantage on Bret's arm. Bret launches him to the floor. Shawn's frustrated. Bret goes to work on his arm. Shawn lands a knee to the gut. Shawn clamps on a chin lock.
Heenan fawns over Sherry.
Oh yeah, she's my center. She's my centerfold.
Did you two ever date? Says Jim Ross.
Oh no,
I dated a lot of cheerleaders.
So I guess Shawn wasn't the greatest of all time just yet, because once again he locks on a chin lock opposite the hard camera. Shawn nails sweet chin music, and that wasn't even a transition move. That wasn't a finish. That was just a move. Then Bret counters the teardrop suplex. Bret comes back with a second rope clothesline. Bret goes through his trademark comeback that we've all seen, the pointy elbow off the middle buckle.
Yep.
He's never pinned anyone with that move, and yet Bret is still mad and in shock at the referee because it wasn't the finish.
Referee Joey Morella. We've had different referees for every match except the two that had Mike Chioda in them.
Right. All right. Yeah, so Savage makes a note to tell us that every single match on this show has a different referee because, it's a quantity or it's a quality over quantity type of situation. What?
Who's paying attention on a Coliseum video?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Who's taking time and watching this on the Coliseum video years back or even now on the network just checking off saying, hey, they've had different referees in every match. Oh, wait, Mike Chioda's refereed 2 or 3 of these already.
Well, keep in mind, we're in different cities. So
different cities, different tapings.
So Bret slaps on a sleeper. Both guys stumble to the floor. They start brawling. Shawn makes it into the ring first. Sherry grabs Bret's leg. Shawn shoves Bret off of the rope into the guardrail. Now, that's a bump that, for some reason, Bret loved to take. I don't know why.
He's a masochist.
That was the one move that actually caused him an injury to make him miss his first set of house show tapings in years.
When was that?
He was working a match against Dino Bravo in 1989. And they did that same spot in Toronto in Maple Leaf Gardens. And Bret was on the apron and Dino shoved him and Bret landed sternum first on the guardrail. And he talks about that in Wrestling with Shadows when he's talking with one of his sons. And I don't know if this is true or not, or if he was working us, but he said that the only time he ever missed a spot due to an injury was because of that move. So,
why would you continue to take that?
I know, right? He took that move against Mr. Perfect at SummerSlam when he landed in the drink bin.
He took that move at Survivor Series 93 from his own brother, which set up their feud.
So if it's going to injure you, stop doing that. So anyways, Bret gets counted out at 8 minutes and 51 seconds. Shawn thinks he's won.
Sherry runs and gets the belt and tosses it in.
Right. They haven't been around long enough to understand or realize that you don't win titles on countouts.
And Bobby Heenan's like, that's why I hate Finkel, because he makes those announcements.
Right. Oh, I hate Finkel. And Jim Ross is like, why? What's wrong with Finkel? Well, do you know him? Yeah? Then you don't know him well enough.
Oh, Bobby.
God, I miss Bobby so much. So the ref takes the belt back from Shawn. Shawn decks the referee. Bret runs back in to save the day. So he bonks Shawn with the title. And we move along. So
it's a Bret Shawn match. It's a short one, but it's a good one as it always was with those two. Some great wrestling, and of course, being that it's a TV taping, and certainly not the best one that these two have had. But on this show,
it was the best match of this show. So,
Well, we got a good match in our last match, too, coming up later.
right. So we're back at the bowling alley. Slick is explaining the bowling stance. And Kamala is still not paying attention. So after they have already given Kamala his own custom bowling ball that he appears to now love, Slick and Alfred decide that, hey, taking this ball away and giving him a new one that's not painted, that's the right course of action. And my immediate thought is clearly these two have never tried to raise children.
Nope.
Because if you give a kid something he likes and you take it away for something that he won't like, that's bad news. So we finally get Kamala in a match. And I say match in the loosest term.
And we get some, as we did throughout some of these matches, we got some bowling guy references, which I can name more famous tennis players than I can bowlers. So good on JR for knowing those.
Who did he mention? I don't even know.
Carmen Salvino, Dick Weber, and somebody else. And during the Brett Shawn match, there's this funny thing where Heenan talks about introducing Jim Ross to some stews, and he's like, who? Stu Schwartz? Stu Sachs?
Stu Sachs. For those that don't know, I believe Stu Sachs was a writer for the Aftermags.
Don't call them the Aftermags.
So we get, let's see here, Kamala versus Doink the Clown, February 16th, 1993 from San Diego. Heel Doink's psychotic music was really cool.
And he has a box. He has a present.
He brings a big glittery present to the ring, and he keeps teasing that he's going to give it to Kamala, and then he pulls it away and cackles, because he's evil, and that's a funny thing that evil clowns do.
And he out-wrestles Doink for Kamala for a minute. Literally a minute.
They make another bowling reference. Well, Bobby does. He says that, hey, if Kamala wants to bowl, we can just cut off his head, shave his beard, stick our fingers in his eyeballs, and roll his head down the lanes.
Murder!
Be a star.
Also, when Doink is about to give him the present the first time in the match, Bobby says, hey, it's a New Brunswick bowling ball. And Savage is like, not unless Doink is the strongest man in the world. Yeah.
So Doink sneak attacks Kamala. He takes him down with some double legs. There's some arm bars. I would have loved to have been inside Jim Ross's brain when he was calling this. It's like, this is what I left Turner for. So Kamala gives a bunch of Kali chops to the top of Doink's head. He chops him over the top rope. Doink runs around the ring. Kamala, of course, runs right after him. Doink grabs the glittery present and distracts him. He says, here, take the present, take it. Meanwhile, the ref is still counting. Kamala takes it. Doink rolls into the ring, and Kamala gets counted out. 3 minutes and 21 seconds. And you know what the payoff for the present was?
Nothing.
And what was the line that Bobby said? I'm sorry, I'm dumb.
Well, he's right.
Oh, and Savage is like, oh, Kamala, you were doing so good. No, you weren't.
No, not really. Nope.
So Kamala runs in and he attacks Doink because that's what you do when you lose fair and square. Doink saw him coming, and yet
dumb.
Right. Doink saw him coming, and yet he was unable to escape from his clutches. He was like a WWE.
And we end the segment with the world's slowest chase scene.
Kamala gives him a chop a bunch of times. He does the big splash. Randy Savage is loving this abuse. The crowd is cheering that this jungle man is attacking an innocent clown just because he got outsmarted. So that's a great message you're sending to your kids.
Undertaker versus Papa Shango.
Match number, I don't even know what this was. I had lost count. Seven. December 14th, 1992, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Do you know why Papa Shango was in this particular match with Undertaker?
Because this was the show Nails got fired at.
Oh, what an idiot.
He chokes Vince McMahon and accuses him of sexual molestation.
And the week prior, they did the angle on Superstars where Nails and Undertaker went face to face, and that got a lot of positive feedback from that photo, in so much that it made the cover of the WWF magazine, which went on sale about 2 weeks after Nails had already been fired. So good job.
Whoops! Timing is everything.
And so Papa Shango was put in to, I guess, fill all of Nails' spots. The very first move of this match was Papa Shango grabbing Taker by the neck. The ref counted to past 5. That's a DQ, right?
No, it's not.
Oh, no, not in this case. So then Taker does the same thing.
Shango might put a curse on the ref.
Oh, that's right. He doesn't want black goo coming down. Hey, have you been watching some of the Superstars on the network?
Yes.
The curse.
Fantastic.
What a terrible time. They always say
and that's
that,
the time I started watching.
I was and
I was 5. I was probably 6 by that time.
No, I was well into my my early teens by that point. So I had lived through the Hulkamania, I guess the height of that, early or mid 80s.
Yep.
And then when they decided that, well, no, we have to have a nice family friendly product. So yeah, we'll put voodoo guys and dead guys and zombies. That's
ex-convicts.
Right, who beat the holy piss out of people.
That's family friendly.
So
goddamn, pal, that's family friendly.
Well, geez, I'm about to go to jail for steroid distribution. I gotta make it family friendly.
Goddamn, pal. Goddamn, Pat, what do we do?
I don't know, Vince. Okay.
Goddamn, Bruce, what do we do? Well, you know. Oh, wait, that's Jerry Jarrett. Chicken salad.
Oh, man. Jim Barnett. My boy.
My boy. My boy.
We're just going to do a show of bad impressions. This match is terrible. Taker again does the old school within the first
Shango
minute.
shoots him with something in the face.
He's got this. He brings out his voodoo stick, and he's got fireworks that come shooting out. And
again, it's not a DQ.
It's not. Well, no, because see, this is the second time in an Undertaker match that Paul Bearer had the ref distracted
At the wrong time.
while his own guy had the advantage.
Yep.
So what's he trying to do? Is he's foreshadowing like 4 years from now when he actually does turn on him? It's a real slow build.
And Taker wins eventually with a choke slam.
Yeah. We don't even get a tombstone.
Nope.
Bobby Heenan.
I think Taker probably had to work again during this taping at some point.
I think so. Bobby Heenan asked him, "Was that Haley's Comet that came in?"
Nope.
No,
it was an asteroid.
It was a little Roman candle or some sort of cheap ass fireworks. So we're back at the bowling alley again. Slick is trying to explain again how to roll the ball, and he says, "Don't throw it like a softball." It's like, you idiot. He doesn't even know about bowling. What makes you think he's going to know about minor league softball? He's not Sid.
Maybe he's seen Sid play.
He can't tell the difference between a bowling ball and a softball, and slapstick comedy ensues. And we're thrown to the 16-man Battle Royal, which was on February 15th, 1993's episode of Raw. I think this was only the third or fourth episode of Raw.
I don't think so. Raw had been on for about, probably 5 or 6 weeks by this point.
January
11th and 18th.
Yeah.
February 20. This was the 5th episode because of they were preempted because of the dog show.
Oh, thank God we figured that out.
That's not gonna sleep at night. Anyway,
I'm not going to go through everybody who's on it. Kick
punch.
We'll get to the final four. It was Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Tatanka, and Tito Santana.
And by the way, Giant Gonzalez was supposed to be in this, but nobody else was going to be in it if he was going to be in it.
That's not how it works.
But that's the reasoning.
They could. Why didn't they do that every time Andre was in a battle royal? They could just not have one.
Andre wasn't 8 feet tall.
They're not unionized. They can't just make these decisions.
If he's going to be in this, I'm not going to be in it.
Oh no, Skinner. What are we going to do without you? We need...
Oh no, Kimchi. What are we going to do without you?
What are we going to do, Damien Demento? You're the draw.
Commercial? Where's Virgil?
Where's Terry Taylor?
He was in this.
Oh, I know, but...
Where's Max Moon? Oh, wait, he was gone by this point.
Um...
Where's the Repo Man? He's stealing some guy's camera.
Yeah, you could have put either of the head shrinkers in here.
Where are
King
the
Chi was in
Beverly
here.
Brothers?
Berserker. So...
He's in there.
Oh, Iron Mike Sharp.
He's also in there.
I know we...
What was on that Raw taping.
Yeah, I know we just said that we weren't going to run down who was in here, but here we are.
It's so basically whoever was on that Raw taping that night.
Yeah, so the final four, we get the two heels and two baby faces pair off. Tito hits Razor with the flying forearm. Tito and Tatanka eliminate Shawn, so Shawn took his elimination like a man. And it was at this point where Giant Gonzalez enters the ring. He attacks all three guys. Razor rolls out to the bottom. Gonzalez tosses Tatanka and Tito over the top rope. Giant leaves, leaving Razor the only remaining original guy, so by default he wins.
But how can somebody be eliminated by someone who wasn't in the match?
But technically he was in the match. He was announced for the match. We're supposed to think that he signed for the match. He just didn't show up until the end.
Because nobody wanted the minute.
He
was angry because he was, what's the word I'm looking for? He was not allowed entry because people were afraid of him, and he was angry.
So his feelings were hurt.
Yes.
The Giant has feelings. But he decides that he's not going to enter until he really wants to. But now that's known as the Iconics rule.
Yep.
No? Yes? No?
Yes.
Anyways,
okay, Brutus.
12 minutes and 57 seconds of garbage.
And
next match. The star of the Repo Cam is here. Repo Man versus Tatanka. This took place at the 1992 Survivor Series Showdown special. Bobby Heenan
wastes Springfield, Illinois.
Yeah, Bobby wastes no time in making politically insensitive statements about Tatanka that would never fly in 2019.
Pampus to go. Oh wait, that's later.
Tatanka has Repo in the standing armbar, and Repo is screaming, "He's breaking it! He's breaking it!" To me,
and he says, "You make people think he's breaking it."
But to me, if someone is yelling, "He's breaking it," that constitutes a verbal submission in my book.
But the match doesn't end.
So Repo now has Tatanka in an armbar. Armbars were the move of the night here.
Yep.
Tatanka hulks up. He does his war dance while still in the armbar. He chops his way out. They crisscross over the ropes. Repo does a drop down. And I don't know why more people in wrestling haven't done this. Instead of jumping over the guy to go to the other side of the rope, just stop and attack him. And that's what Tatanka did.
Or usually they grab a headlock.
Right. So Repo does a drop down, but he's facing face up. He's lying like on his back, waiting for Tatanka to do like the crossover. Right. But Tatanka just dives in the air and gives him a great big chop right to the face. This great big swan dive. Oh, I died. So there's a few more chops. Repo counters an O'Connor roll. Repo misses a clothesline. Tatanka picks him up, hits the Samoan drop for the win.
The papoose to go.
the papoose to go.
Or the end of the trail if you're Gorilla.
Or the write-off if you're IRS.
The write-off. I thought that was a clothesline that he did. Either way.
I don't know. I wish we had the brain scan for this.
There were no replays in this show.
Oh, thank God.
And we go back to the bowling alley.
So Kamala still can't bowl. He throws the ball backwards, and Slick and Alfred run for cover, because what else would you expect him to do?
And it's main event time, at least at the matches.
Main event here, January 4th, 1993, from Beaumont, Texas, Ric Flair versus Mr. Perfect. First thing I realize is we have my least favorite announcer ever, Bill Dunn.
Yep.
I hate him.
Him and Tony Chimmel were there sooner than you would think, because Chimmel was there in '92.
I actually didn't mind Chimmel, but Bill Dunn.
I like Chimmel, but if you never saw any of these videos or watched any of the syndicated shows, you wouldn't have thought that Chimmel was there until the Attitude Era.
Yeah, if you never heard of Bill Dunn, go back and watch WrestleMania 10, because he was all over. He was all over that show.
One of the many Finkel replacements that did not work.
Bill Alfonso was our referee, so he must have got his car back from Repo Man.
Or no, that was a taping. The next taping.
Kayfabe, brother.
Yeah.
No, everything happened in the order in which we saw it, I'm sure.
No.
Don't ruin the illusion for me, damn it.
It's still real to me, damn it.
I thought this was the great loser leaves WWF, but that match was on the WrestleFest 93 video, so this was just a dark match that happened during the challenge tapings.
Yep.
So there wasn't really a whole lot to this. It was basically, Perfect did all of his regular spots, and Flair did all of his trademark spots. There was some shoves, and we get some references to Larry the Axe Hennig, and we get Flair being slapped in the beak.
Don't call it the beak.
Perfect continues to make Flair look like, a jackass, and Flair works Perfect over, sends him over to the opposite corner, complete with the oversell. Heenan puts Savage over for winning the title against Flair, but then says Flair was jobbed out. And I don't think Macho was expecting Bobby to start using insider terms. Jobbed? What do you mean jobbed? What do you mean kayfabe?
I don't have any Slim Jims, brother.
Mr. Perfect hits a drop kick and a clothesline, sending Flair to the floor for a breather. Flair hits some chops in the corner with the headlock punches to the bridge of the nose. Flair goes to the top rope. And yes, he gets slammed off the top. Mr. Perfect misses an elbow, which gives Flair the chance to lock in the figure four. And yes, he does use the rope for extra leverage. And then
That's illegal. No, illegal is a sick bird.
Illegal is a sick bird. Yeah, if you've had a lot of these Coliseum videos, they pretty much use the same joke for every show. They exchange reversals, and as a child, we're taught that if you're in a figure four and you roll to your stomach, that's going to reverse the pressure.
Turn it into an Indian deathlock.
It doesn't. My brother used to put me in figure fours all the time, and I thought, aha, I have an escape. And I roll to my stomach. But oh no, it doesn't work that way.
Nope.
They seem to have been playing the role of two guys going 40 minutes, crammed into a 10-minute match. And Mr. Perfect whips Flair across the ring. Perfect hits the backdrop. Another whip to the corner. Flair does the Patterson flip over the apron onto the floor. Perfect counters the backdrop with the Perfect Plex. Gets the win. 10 minutes and 51 seconds.
No.
Damn it. It's a good match, in comparison to the one they had on that on that Raw. Well, I'm sure on Nitro they had some good ones too.
They had some in 97.
Yeah, they got nearly double the time in that one. So this one was a little bit disappointing, but on the other hand, you can't really complain with what they tried to fit into this match, based on what they had to work with. So.
Yep. And one last segment at the bowling alley.
Slick is about to give up on poor Kamala. He's had enough. He wants to go home. They tried. And then we hear the ball being rolled down the aisle. They do a camera cut to a ball that was obviously not thrown by Kamala. And it gets a strike. And everyone celebrates. And they're jumping up and down. And Lord Alfred thanks us for being there. And then the show fades to black.
Yay.
NXT TakeOver, this was not. Overall, what did you think?
I think, you have Brett and Perfect, and Brett and Shawn and Perfect and Flair are your best matches. But other than that, this is, a standard Coliseum video with a lot of just dark matches and a lot of just matches. And the Repo Cam is what steals it. And if that's on YouTube, I would look that up. But other than that, you have two good matches and a bunch of just thrown together dark matches.
Yeah, you get, again, like I said before, the Shawn Brett match didn't fit on this. This should have been like a collection of freak show matches. And then you actually have, you throw a good match by comparison in the beginning and then one at the end with Flair and Hennig. So, yeah, those are okay. There are much better matches from all four of those guys out there. But, go back and watch the Repo Cam. Like I said, I had completely forgotten about that. That was hilarious for me.
And on that note, what are we doing next, Rowan? It's your pick.
It's my pick. Well, since we are in the month of February, I thought we would go back to WCW. Let's take a look at Super Brawl 4, which happened on February 20th, 1994 from the Albany Civic Center in Albany, Georgia, headlined by Ric Flair and Big Van Vader.
In one of 2 steel cage matches.
Yeah, I've got the card in front of me here. At the top, we have Ric Flair versus Vader. We have a 6-man Thunderdome cage match of Sting, Brian Pillman, and Dustin Rhodes versus Steve Austin, Rick Rude, and Paul Orndorff. For the tag team championships, we have the Nasty Boys defending against Cactus Jack and Max Payne. World Television title match, we have William Regal defending against Arn Anderson. That should be fun.
Yep.
Johnny B. Bad versus Jimmy Jam Garvin. Yep. Terry Taylor. I don't know if all of these matches are actually on the show or if some of these were just dark matches. Terry Taylor versus Diamond Dallas Page. The Equalizer versus Jim Steele. No idea who that is. And
the Equalizer is Dave Sullivan.
Well, yeah, I know who Equalizer was, but Jim Steele. Who's Jim Steele? James Rocha. Under the ring name Jim Steele and Wolf Hawkfield. Anyways. And
it's like a cartoon villain, Wolf Hawkfield.
Right. And then we get a Harlem Heat tag match to open the show.
Against Thunder and Lightning.
Against
Cobra and some other guy.
Cobra! I wish.
And that'll be either next week or the week after.
Yeah, so that'll be in a couple weeks. I want to give a quick shout out to our buddy and Angry Marks alum, Peach Machine, who made his Ring of Honor debut last night at the tapings in Florida.
Wait a minute.
Lakeland, Florida.
He was on there? I saw the spoilers.
Well, obviously, he didn't go by Peach Machine. He's
that would be a great wrestling name.
He went by Beachbody...
Beachbody something. Beachbody Ryan?
Beachbody Ryan. So hopefully we will get to see Beachbody Ryan, a.k.a. Peach Machine, on...
I think that was a dark match, so we probably will get to see that on, the Future of Honor stuff later on, because I did see the spoilers earlier. Yeah. A lot of build for their pay-per-view coming up next month, which we'll probably be covering.
Yeah. So until then, any final notes about Invasion of the Bodyslammers?
No.
You said that with such gusto.
That threw me off.
Sorry, we can do it again.
I was going to do a plug for Limitless Wrestling's Welcome to the Jungle.
Right, go ahead. We're not done yet, people.
Yep. Limitless Wrestling presents Welcome to the Jungle. Welcome to the Jungle. No, Welcome to the Dance.
They've got fun and games.
This is the dance. I can't do a Paul Heyman impression. Because this is the dance. And on the card so far, we have the Hurricane versus Christian Casanova, which was just announced a few days ago. We have... Damn it. And we have the main event, which is Ace Romero, MJF, JT Dunn, and Anthony Green to crown the first ever Limitless champion.
All right, where can we go to see that?
Well, you have to buy tickets, which they're going fast. You can check out Limitless Wrestling at www.limitlesswrestling.com or facebook.com/Limitless Wrestling or twitter.com/LWMain. And I am trying sometime before the show to get the promoter for an interview for AngryMarks.com, and that is Randy Carver Jr. I'm trying to, but I haven't been able to get him to nail down a time.
Well, when you do, let us know. We'll see what we can do to help out with that.
Yep. Okay.
This has been episode 14. Thanks very much for listening. If you've decided to listen, make us a part of your evening. Good night, everybody.
Yes. Good night, everybody.